So today we're going to dive into a really fascinating 1979 sermon by Reverend Sun Myung Moon. It's called The Spring Season of the Providence, and it's amazing how he uses this one central idea, the season of spring, to unpack some of his biggest, most profound ideas about love, humanity, and God. And right at the top, the sermon hits us with this idea that's just universal. Spring isn't just about warmer weather, right? It's a symbol. It's this feeling of a new beginning, the sense of hope that we all get no matter who we are. And it's this shared feeling that really becomes the launchpad for the entire message. Okay, so let's start right where he starts by just looking at that simple, powerful joy that we all feel when spring finally arrives. What's so cool here is the picture it paints. It's not just, oh, the flowers are pretty. He describes the entire natural world throwing a party. Birds are singing, butterflies are dancing, and I love this detail. Even the worms in the ground are wiggling with joy. The point is that every part of creation is in on this massive, energetic celebration of life. Okay, so here's where things get really interesting. The sermon takes this simple observation of nature and just goes deeper, giving it a huge spiritual meaning. It says, hold on, this isn't random. This is all part of something much, much bigger. And this is the absolute key. According to the sermon, this isn't just biology class. The birds aren't just chirping to mark their territory. It's all framed as this collective, universal song of love. It's like all of creation is putting on a performance, expressing love for an audience. This chart does a great job of breaking down the different layers of love he talks about. You can see it starts with the most personal, the love between parents and kids, and it expands outward to love for your country and then for all of humanity. But right at the top, the biggest and most important piece is what the sermon calls the love of God. This quote really nails it. Love is described as this incredible, activating force, like an injection of vitality that just energizes everyone, whether you're a little kid or an old grandparent. It's the engine that drives everything. But right when you're feeling all this joy and energy, the sermon just pivots hard. After building up all this incredible love and celebration that comes with spring, it introduces this really deep sense of conflict, of sorrow. It talks about God's heartbreak. And that brings us to the core question, the real puzzle the sermon tries to solve. I mean, if all of creation is singing this beautiful song of love, why on earth would the source of all that love feel pain? It's a really powerful and kind of shocking question when you think about it. So, according to the sermon, the answer goes all the way back to the biblical story of Adam and Eve. The idea is that when humanity turned away from God, the very thing he poured all his love into was broken. It shattered his heart, basically, leaving him totally alone in a world he created specifically for that loving relationship. Yeah, and this quote, wow, it really hits you. It's saying that the most beautiful parts of spring, the singing birds, the blooming flowers, they become these constant, painful reminders to God of what he lost. Just imagine that. What's supposed to be a source of joy becomes a source of deep, lonely pain. Okay, so after laying out this really heavy problem of God's heartbreak, the sermon doesn't just leave you there in despair. Instead, it offers a path forward, a very specific way for humanity to fix this broken relationship and bring love back to its original purpose. And the whole solution, the entire key, is this very specific idea of true love. Now, this isn't just any old romantic love. It's defined as something totally absolute, unchanging, and with God right at the center. The sermon says it's only inside this kind of perfect, harmonious union that God can finally feel at home in the world again. And this comparison here really lays it all out, side by side. On one side, you've got what the sermon calls corrupted love, stained, dirty, self-centered. It's a picture of the world as it is now. But on the other side, you have this ideal of true love, absolute, pure, the founding principle of a whole new reality. The difference is like a cut flower that's bound to wilt versus a tree with deep, strong roots. So you might be asking, okay, how do you actually do that? Well, the sermon lays out this very clear three-step spiritual path. First, you have to completely cut ties with your past. Second, you have to be totally obedient to this new law of God-centered love. And third, you have to fulfill the blessing, which is a reference to the church's unique marriage ceremonies. And by doing that, you become a pioneer of this new world. And the payoff for all this? Well, it's huge, absolutely cosmic.
The sermon promises that people who walk this path will basically achieve a kind of spiritual royalty. They'll become a king and queen of love, and the whole universe, even God himself, will bow down to them. It's an incredible vision.
All right, this brings us to the sermon's grand finale, which is full of this urgent sense of hope. It declares that this new era, this cosmic spring, isn't some far-off dream. It's happening. It's right around the corner. This timeline really puts it all into perspective, showing this huge sweep of history. It starts 6,000 years ago with the fall, moves through this long, dark winter of God's sadness, and then it points to 1977 as this massive turning point, the declaration of the kingdom of heaven on earth. And all of that leads to the final, dramatic conclusion. The cosmic spring, the healing of everything, is now at hand. And this final quote, man, it just ties everything together. The goal is to change spring from a sad reminder for God into a moment of pure joy, a time when God can finally look at people and say, there it is, that's my spring. I've finally found the true lovers who have created a world of love right here on earth. And that's really where the sermon leaves you, with this big, powerful question. See, it's not just an explanation of ideas, it's a call to action. It's asking its listeners to become a part of bringing about this cosmic spring, this global restoration of love that finally heals God's broken heart. It's a huge vision, one that's inspired a worldwide movement, and it leaves you wondering, what does it truly mean to help usher in a new season for the world?